Hare Krishna. We'll continue our discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 3rd chapter, 20 and 21st shlokas, which are Yamaraja's instruction in the context of story of Ajamila. I will read the shloka full again and also read the meaning. And out of 12 Mahajanas about which Yamaraja has made a reference, we will talk about the first Mahajana of the shloka, that is Lord Brahma. Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 3rd chapter, 20th and 21st shlokas. Swayambhur Narada Shambhu Kumarah Kapilo Manuhu Prahlado Janako Bhishmo Balirvaya Sakhirvayam Dvadishaiti Vijanimo Dharmam Bhagavatam Bhataha Guhyam Vishuddham Durbodham Yam Jnatvaamrutam Swayambhur Narada Shambhu Kumarah Kapilo Manuhu Prahlado Janako Bhishmo Balirvaya Sakhirvayam Dvadishaiti Vijanimo Dharmam Bhagavatam Bhataha Guhyam Vishuddham Durbodham Yam Jnatvaamrutam Meaning, Lord Brahma, Bhagavan Narada, Lord Shiva, 4 Kumaras, Lord Kapila, son of Devahuti, Swayambhu Manu, Prahlada Maharaj, Janaka Maharaj, grandfather Bhishma, Bali Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami, and I, Yamaraja, myself know real religious principle. My dear servants, this transcendental religious principle, which is known as Bhagavata Dharma, or surrender unto Supreme Lord or love for Him, is uncontaminated by the material modes of nature. This is very confidential and difficult for ordinary human beings to understand. But if by chance one fortunately understands it, he is immediately liberated, and thus he returns home back to Godhead. So the key points, as we discussed, as we discussed last time, I'll summarize. This is Yamaraja's instruction to his messengers who went and wanted to get Ajamila to Yamaloka, but then Vishnudutas convinced Yamadutas that Ajamila is a deserving candidate to go to Vishnuluka. So when they come back, Yamaraja is discussing the philosophy of devotional service and the importance of Mahajanas to his messengers or servants. So here he is giving 12 names of the 12 great people called Mahajanas, and the instruction for us is that we need to follow the footsteps of these Mahajanas in the way they carried out their devotional service, in the way they had the unflinching attachments towards Lord, and in the way they carried out their prescribed duties. And also another key message coming out of the shloka is we also have to follow those Mahajanas who follow these Mahajanas, that means the great acharyas, the spiritual leaders, spiritual teachers, self-realized liberated souls who have understood the principles and teachings of these Mahajanas and have revealed to us in a way that we can understand and follow to the best of our ability. We should also respect them as Mahajanas, as great personalities who provide us the guidance by following and inspiring us to follow these great Mahajanas. So this is how our disciplic succession also gets carried. So Mahajanas and the people who serve the Mahajanas, people who understand the teachings of these Mahajanas, they give to another generation, and that generation picks up, and the revelation of knowledge continuously flows. And that's how we should take the opportunity by getting connected to a authorized sampradaya and always questioning and applying the principles of knowledge, Vedic wisdom with Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. What is our Guru saying, what other sadhus are saying, and what is given in the Shastras. So we have been given the liberty as we follow and inquire in submission and inquire with respect the great personalities that whom we meet, who reveal us this knowledge, and we bow down to these great 12 Mahajanas that are told by Yamaraja, and one Mahajana is himself. So sometimes when discussion happens around these shlokas, these two shlokas, people do question, are there not other people are not Mahajanas? Two fundamental questions come. One is, how come Vyasadeva himself is not there? Because he is supposed to be the literary incarnation of the Lord, and he has actually compiled, or he has told Srimad Bhagavatam to Shuka Maharaj, and whose name comes here. And then why there are no names of Krishna and Rama? So these typical doubts keep coming. So as we cover these Mahajanas, we will definitely answer those general questions that normally anyone would probably get. But today we will focus our session on Lord Brahma. So before that, we'll again in a mood of devotion, in a mood of respect to Yamaraj, and also thanking Yamaraj for revealing this knowledge to us, and we'll remember all the 12 Mahajanas through this shloka. Swayambhur Narada Shambhu Kumara Kapilo Manu Prahlado Janako Bhishmo Balirvaya Sakhirvayam Dvadishaiti Vijanimo Dharmam Bhagavatam Bhataha Guhyam Vishuddham Durbodham Yam Jnatvam Ashnute. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, among the 12 Mahajanas, we will first remember Lord Brahma. As most of us know, Lord Brahma is the first creator. He is also known as the first engineer. He is the creator of these universes, and Lord has actually empowered him to do this great work of creating universes, so that Jivatmas like this, people like us, living entities like us, can fulfill our desires. We were initially part of the abode of the Lord, but since we had a desire to enjoy ourselves, Lord gives us an opportunity to fulfill our desires, and that's how these universes get created. And in these universes we enjoy, suffer, we die, we take birth, and in this loop we are there. So today we are praying to Lord Brahma to give us that knowledge to understand that who we are and how we can come out of these universes that he has created, so that we can go back to Godhead, because Lord Brahma is the one who has first received the knowledge from Bhagavan, Shri Krishna. So when Lord Brahma was created, he didn't know exactly what to do, and so he has meditated on the Lord for several thousands of years. So he was initiated with knowledge by the flute sound of Shri Krishna, and he was also immersed with the 4 sound vibrations of the 4 Vedas: Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda and Atharva Veda. So that's how the Lord Brahma's kind of a birth took place, and having known and having noted what he is supposed to do, Brahma started the work of the creation of these 9 different universes. So from a Vaishnava Siddhanta point of view, from a deeper understanding of the greatness of Brahma, we must know and acknowledge the fact that just after Brahma got the real knowledge, he has glorified the very same person who has given him the knowledge and who has empowered him to do the work and to make him known as the creator and the first engineer of this whole lot of universes. So he has sung in praise of the Lord, and that text is called Brahma Samhita, which is very well chanted in majority of the places in the prayers of International Society of Krishna Consciousness. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, about 500 plus years back, when he was touring South India, he heard Brahma Samhita being chanted by the devotees in one temple called Adikeshava temple, which is geographically, it is somewhere near Trivandrum. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this, he was very impressed, and he particularly liked the 5th chapter of that Brahma Samhita shlokas, and he immediately made arrangements to get it written, and he brought the copies, and then he revealed that knowledge to all the other of his followers. And according to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Brahma Samhita is a very good, concise summary of the whole concept and understanding of devotion. Particularly, it summarizes the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam. So in that way, we must thank, acknowledge and pray to Brahma, Lord Brahma, for giving us this wonderful Brahma Samhita. So Brahma Samhita prayers are typically chanted during the Abhishek ceremony. From text 29 onwards of the 5th chapter, it is chanted. Brahma Samhita basically gives phenomenal understanding and a very clear-cut, crisp understanding of what is Goloka, how does it look like, who resides there, what is the connection between Krishna and Vishnu, who are the 3 Vishnus which are normally referred as Mahavishnu, Kshirodarsha Vishnu, Garbhodarsha Vishnu, and what is the connection with them, and what is the correct understanding of Vishnu Tattva, how Lord Ramchandra and Vishnu and Krishna are related and connected in terms of philosophy, and how Goloka looks like and what Krishna does in Goloka, and how we can enjoy, visualize, realize and experience what happens in Goloka and what we should do to get that deservedness, to enjoy that, and what are the relationship between Durga Devi, other devatas and Krishna and Vishnu Tattva, where do they reside and how they look like and what are their duties and why and with what they are empowered to do what they are supposed to do. And it also gives a wonderful understanding on Lord Ganesha, who he is and how is he connected to the Vishnu Tattva. It also has a very beautiful description on the relation and connection between Vishnu and Shiva. And it reveals so many things about a devotional service. Time and again it gives importance to Bhakti Yoga. Just exactly the similar way in Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter to 12th chapter, how Krishna reveals the importance and supremacy of Bhakti Yoga. Brahma Samhita also has a very strong foundation and a very strong meaning and approach to Bhakti Yoga. And it says that only through that we can get to know God properly. So there are very, very nice shlokas in that. Brahma Samhita basically start with a very powerful shloka which is very often quoted and chanted in the teachings of ISKCON, Samstapakacharya, ISKCON Founderacharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Ishvara Paramah Krishna Sachitananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So basically in this simple shloka, so many things come out. Sarva Karana Karanam, there the wonderful definition of God comes to us. Is the causeless cause of all causes. If somebody were to ask, why do we worship God? Our simple answer could be, because we worship that person or that one who is the causeless cause of all causes. Sarva Karana Karanam. And who is he? Ishvara Parama Krishna. So he is the Ishvara, he is the controller. Parama Krishna is the supreme controller. Who is he? Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna. Satchitananda Vigraha. He is full of knowledge, full of bliss, and full of happiness, full of knowledge, full of consciousness, and eternity. He is always there. He is not born. Just like the way Brahma was created, God is not created because God has no birth. He is there always. So he is eternity, knowledge, and bliss are there. Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchitananda Vigraha, Anadi Radhe Govinda. He is Anadi, from there is no beginning and end to him. Govinda, he, even though he is like that, he is the one who gives us senses, he gives satisfaction, pleasure to our senses. He likes cows, that's why he is called Govinda. Anadi Radhe Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. This is the first shloka of Brahma Samhita. Even though it is a simple shloka, it has got so many nice philosophical points. And Brahma Samhita also, as I told before, gives a lot of importance to bhakti. So when we are remembering Brahmaji, the Lord Brahma, Swayambhu, Narada Shambho, so we remember him in that mood of devotion, in that mood of respect. Because Srila Prabhupada, whenever the topic of bhakti used to come, he used to refer to Brahma Samhita shloka. So Brahma is the one who has chanted this shloka. So we really acknowledge and thank him for giving that shlokas to us. So there are many shlokas in Brahma Samhita. In this post, when I am sending the email of this post, the YouTube link, I'll also be attaching a PDF document of Brahma Samhita and another YouTube link with the chanting of the Brahma Samhita shlokas. So if you are interested, you can try to learn those shlokas. They're very nice. So when Srila Prabhupada went first time along with his disciples to Tirumala, Tirupati Balaji temple, there he saw people waiting in the long queues. And in those days, it was in early 70s, I don't think they had these nice arrangement for devotees to sit. They used to wait in the long queues. Probably they could have been even congested queue lines. And he went along with his Western bodied disciples, and for them it was very interesting to see how thousands and thousands of people wait for hours to get the darshan of the Lord. And while they are waiting, when Srila Prabhupada went and saw, they were very nicely remembering Balaji by loudly chanting Govinda, Govinda. So Srila Prabhupada immediately turned towards his disciples and the devotees who were accompanying him, and he said that this cry or the sound of Govinda makes us remember one important shloka, one important message that Lord Brahma gives in Brahma Samhita. He says these people, even though they are in the queue, they are able to perceive and experience the Lord because they have animated their eyes with love of Godhead. Love of Godhead is there. It is not just the fear, but it is the love of Godhead which makes us come very close to God and experience the God in a very nice and intimate way. So he referred to the verse called Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santas Sadaiva Hrudayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Achincha Gunaswarupam Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Premanjana Churita. So people who have animated with love of Godhead, they will be able to see the God. So that's what Srila Prabhupada has told them. And also there is another very famous, often quoted shloka, which also gives us a very good idea that knowledge alone, mere empirical knowledge alone will not take us near to God, or it will not enable to experience the mellows and rasas and enjoy the feeling of the God. The shloka goes like this: Advaita Machyutam Anadim Ananta Rupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayavanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabhama Durlabham Atma Bhakto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So, if you want to know Advaita, who is second to none, Achyuta, who cannot be defeated, Advaita Machyutam Anadim, Advaita Machyutam, and who is Anadi, who is there from ever. Adyam Purana Purusham, he is the first Purusha, and he is even with all this, he is still very young. Nava Yavanamcha. Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakto. If we just read Vedas alone, he is still Durlabha. We cannot reach him. So by reading Vedas, by getting this speculative knowledge, we may go after God. But if we want God to come after us, Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakto. What becomes Adurlabha is when we become Atma Bhakto, when we surrender to Lord. So here in the meaning, Srila Prabhupada very beautifully tells, my dear servants, this transcendental religious principle, which is known as Bhagavata Dharma, or surrender unto Supreme Lord, and the love for Him is uncontaminated by the modes of material nature. Here the important words are Bhagavata Dharma, or surrender unto the Supreme Lord and love for Him. So this is what Brahmaji has given us. Brahmaji here is, we are knowing to know him as one of the Mahajans, great, one of the 12 Mahajans. So when we remember Brahma, we should remember that he was created for a very wonderful purpose of giving us the opportunity to chart our own destinies, and more importantly to question as we chart our lives, as we go through different bodies, different lives, to question that who am I and what is my relationship with Lord, and what are the processes in which I can improve, or if I have forgotten the relationship, how do we remember that, unearth that relationship, re-establish that relationship, and what is the benefit of doing that, and what is the ultimate prayojana that one will get if you do that. That is Sambandha, Vidaya and Prayojana. So in that mood of devotion, in the mood of prayer, in the mood of surrender to these Mahajans, and also in the mood of surrender and appreciation to all those great saints, all those spiritual leaders who reveal us these wonderful texts of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have a chance to follow them because they follow these Mahajans, and that's how the knowledge and the application of the knowledge is revealed to us in a parampara system. And this